this is where the magic happens. It's in the space between the old way and the new way that the power lies. It's in the space between what is activating me, triggering me, and how I respond or react. That's where my power lies. So things are just weird right now. Like, can we, I've been wanting or feeling the nudge, the call to record a video over the past couple of days, and I've tried several times and obviously trashed it because I just couldn't seem to like get my words together. I couldn't seem to get my thoughts together. I couldn't seem to like string together any sort of coherent message, and yet there's still this sense of like there's something that wants to be shared, there's something that wants to be expressed. And so here I am just trying again. And if you're watching this, then there was clearly something that made me feel like it was worth sharing. But lately, the past couple of days, well, I would say probably the past week, there has been this really intense like push and pull, like of on the one hand, knowing that we're wrapping up the year of the snake, knowing that we're wrapping up the energy of the last cycle, and that just because the calendar says 2026 doesn't necessarily mean we're in a new anything other than a new calendar page. And knowing that we are still completing and wrapping up and finishing and resolving stuff. And at the same time, there's also this like urge, this burning desire to create, to do, to like out of nowhere, I'll get this sense of like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to sit down and record something or write something or create something. And then the minute that I sit down and start, like it all just goes away and it seems meaningless and unimportant. And like, what was I thinking? And so then I just, stop recording or stop writing and just, go do something else, take a nap, eat some food, whatever. But there's still this sense, and it's the past couple of days I've been doing a lot of client sessions, and I've been doing a lot of field sessions, that new service that I began offering at the end of last year. And they're super powerful and super amazing, and it never ever ceases to amaze me. Like it blows my mind every single time, the beauty of what comes through in these field sessions, because the field really does do the work. And one of the things that has consistently been showing up in my sessions, because also interestingly, every single person that I've worked with, I think I can say every single person that I've worked with over the past couple of months has been a practitioner, right? A healer, an energy worker, an intuitive, a psychic, a sound healer, whatever they call themselves doesn't really matter. It's just, it seems to be really impacting those who walk the path of service. Maybe this message is for you. I don't know. If you're watching this, it's for you. Let's just say that. But the message that came through today, I thought was super powerful and I even wrote it down for one of my clients who she has a spiritual practice. She was a body worker and now she's transitioning into other work. And she's also in this place of like, I feel like I'm just like things are wrapping up and things are completing and I'm still in this old cycle, but I also really want to do things and I'm inspired and I'm starting to feel a little bit like, come on, I want to get out there and make something, create something. The message that came through for her was your action is best used when it is in service of your being. I mean, how's that for a brain pretzel? Your action is best used when it is in service of your being. And the information that was coming through for her during today's session was that what we are experiencing right now, individually and collectively, is the thing that just makes sense for me is to just say it's like reverse childbirth. Like you are not birthing something out, you are actually receiving a massive influx of aspects of you that have not been in a physical form in this lifetime and haven't been in a physical form in probably a really long time. What my client remarked on today was she said, I just feel like the part or the energies that are moving into my field right now, she said they feel ancient. And they are ancient because what we are currently receiving is a part of our awareness, an expanded layer of our awareness that is only just now at a point where it can be inhabited by our physical body and our bodies can handle it. We are at a place where our capacity is at the degree that we can hold it all within us and maintain our viability, where we can really begin to integrate these super, super high aspects, but it's literally reverse childbirth. You are receiving something that is being pushed down into your field from, let's just think about hierarchically, right? The higher self. If the higher expanded self is up the ladder, so to speak, then we are in the process of receiving this massive influx of energy, light, and information into our physical vessel. And the levels of this awareness, of this consciousness, have never inhabited this body before. That is no small feat. So it's like this merging of the selves. And what that is also triggering is the death of this old survival self. I started talking about this back in 2023. There was a video on my channel called The Ocean of Self when it was around the Lion's Gate so it was August 23, when this massive influx, which at the time I was just referring to as the Ocean of Self, was really starting to descend into our field. And I feel like what we are wrapping up now was absolutely connected to that window of time. I'm not sure what was happening astrologically around August of 2023, but it's connected in some way. And I feel it. It's like everything is being rewired, everything is being reformatted and redesigned. Another thing that they were talking about was this is like a somatic clearing, that a lot of what we are dealing with right now in terms of the energy is very specifically focused on our nervous system. I am just now realizing to the degree that the nervous system has had the degree to which our nervous system has had an impact on our physical experience. And what I am really starting to realize is so much of what we were able to manifest or not was absolutely coming down to what our nervous system was allowing us to receive or create or have or do or be. And that this nervous system purification, this somatic clearing that's happening right now, is requiring the self that was the survival mode self, the survival mode thinker, the one that just whatever you had to do to survive, to make it out alive, to make it through another day. That is the version of you that is dying right now. And it's really, really challenging because it's the layer of self, the nervous system, that was basically the fundamental driver of all of our interactions, all of our reactions, all of our responses, whether or not we were triggered or activated by something. Like, I just never really realized how crucial and how key the nervous system was. Even my guides were even talking about in one of the sessions today that the lag time that we experience here on Earth between desire and manifestation, right? When I say, okay, I'm creating something, and then the delay and the amount of time it takes to arrive in my physical experience, even that is facilitated by the nervous system. And that it is the nervous system and has been the nervous system that's basically been like the guardian. Using money as an example, you may want more than anything to be financially abundant and to be materially wealthy. But if the nervous system thinks that's not safe, that's not acceptable, that's not okay, that's not allowed or even realistic, you'll never have it. You'll never have it because the nervous system is that electric signal that is signaling to the field at all times, this is what I'm available for, this is who I am, this is what I am, this is what is possible, this is what I can have, be, do, receive, etc. There's an expansion into a greater self that is occurring that rewrites everything. It changes everything. The way that we manifest is changing. The way that we receive guidance and insight is changing. No longer Are we in this, we've been in this cycle that's been very internal, it's been very feminine, it's been very earth and water energy, where it's basically just be the receptacle, be the receiver, sit on your cushion and meditate and be in your internal space and await the guidance or the download or the sign or the epiphany to arrive and then act. Now it's being flipped upside down. Now it's take the nugget of inspiration, take the nugget of the idea, and begin to build it from there. Because it's also numerologically, we're in a 1 year, which means you're not going to get the whole picture. You're not going to get all of the steps. You're only going to get step one. So we are in this beginning building phase. And so in many ways, it's no longer waiting for the inspiration. It's just, oh, I have this idea, I have this desire, so I'm going to start taking steps towards it. I'm going to start taking action to build it. There's also a school of thought that looks at 2026 as a 10-year, right? So numerology, you add 2026, you add 2 plus 2 plus 6 equals 10, which in numerology you would reduce to 1, add the 1 and the 0. There's also a school of thought and a philosophy that says no, 10 is its own number and we don't reduce it. And 10 is the combination of 1 and 0, and 1 being the number that signifies action, the first step, the first, the taking that first step, planting the seed, taking the initial action. But then 0 is the pure potential. 0 is the unfertilized egg. 0 is the superposition. It is source. It is God, the Godhead. Basically, 10 says you are a creator who is in co-creation with the great mystery, with source itself. And that is incredibly powerful. But we are being prepared for that. We are not ready collectively for a life that is not one that we're locked in survival all the time. Like, how do you know freedom if you've never been free? How do you know abundance if you've never been abundant? Like, I think about this lately, all those videos that, I've talked about this before, but those videos on social media of like an animal rescue where an animal was born in captivity and lived in a laboratory, and then it's rescued and taken to 40,000 acres in the jungle where it can just go and be the animal that it is. And 99% of those animals, they open the cage and the animal just sits there like terrified. Like, I've never been outside before. I don't know what grass is. I don't know what blue sky is. Like, imagine being an animal that was born in captivity and all you know is concrete and steel and fluorescent lighting. And then suddenly you're on this amazing nature reserve, and you're free and you don't have to do anything but just be the animal that you are, be that beautiful, precious being that you are. But you've never done that before. So how do you know? So, how do we create in this new environment? How do we navigate the world without the limitation of programming and indoctrination and influence? How do we know ourselves if free if we've never truly been free before? So, it's like this changeover from the old, outdated way of being into the new way of being, which is really the original, authentic way of being. And part of what we're being asked to do is to let all of ourselves, all of our parts be in the room at the same time, and basically get your little chaos demon and your little control freak in the same room at the same time and have them sit down for a meal together and figure out how to get along, because none of what we are experiencing can happen at the exclusion of a part of us that is authentic and natural and organic. So it's the death of all of these constructed survival mechanism selves, the performance, the mask, the costume. That's what's dying. And whatever actions and beliefs and experiences that were created from that perception of yourself as the survival self, the false self, the scarce self, the performer self, all of that has to go too. And now it's, I mean, how do I live as free if I've never really been free before? And this old self that is dying is also then creating space for more of the true authentic self to descend and to really inhabit our bodies, But that means that all of us that is authentic and natural and organic must be given a seat at the table. And the parts of us that are made up, manufactured, those have to go because they can't sustain in the higher frequencies. And the message that everyone has been getting, which I love this, because everyone is saying, well, what do I do? And that's been my question too, of like, okay, I'm inspired. I have these ideas, and then I sit down to do something and it just falls apart. What do I do right now? The answer is your action is best used when it's in service of your being. So, whatever you're doing, ensure that it is in service of your being. Being what? Being clear, being connected, being nurtured, being nourished, being replenished, being quiet, being expressed, being whatever it is in the moment. And the thing that I love that has been coming through in response to the question, what do I do? Think of what you would do during a massage. Think about being on the massage table with a practitioner who's really skilled, educated, gifted. They know what they're doing. You are going to give in to their instructions. They're going to say, okay, raise your arm. Okay, now bend your leg. Okay, now turn your head to the left. You're going to allow them. You're going to trust them. You're not going to fight that. You're not going to resist that. That's really the best thing that we can do right now. Be present, be active, be aware and, locked into the observation, but also very receptive and responsive to the guidance that you're getting. And if you don't know what to do, just be. This is where the magic happens. It's in the space between the old way and the new way that the power lies. It's in the space between what is activating me, triggering me, and how I respond or react. That's where my power lies. So I may have the desire to go into old behavior, old distraction, because that's another thing that I'm experiencing is there's distraction is everywhere right now, and it is really loud and really demanding and really, really needy. But when I let myself observe that desire to go distract, check out, go numb, whatever, okay, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. That's not what I'm doing, but you're allowed to want that. You're allowed to desire that, but just sit and watch, observe. Just see what happens when you refuse to give in, but stay present, right? So I'm not vacating, I'm not checking out, but I'm not also not indulging. That seems to be the key right now is letting those old muscle memories, letting those old neural pathways, letting those old cellular memories just die. You just let it go. You just let it die. You let it starve. And that's where the power is. That's where the magic is right now, is in between impulse and response, in between desire and how I go about achieving or acquire, manifesting that desire. Anyway, I just wanted to hop on and share that because it's something that's been really present in my own experience, and it's been showing up in multiple client sessions, which is always a sign that there's, some commonality that's happening and a thread that collectively we're experiencing. So if you're interested, I'm currently booking field sessions. You can find all the information below in the description box. Also, check out my events. I have an amazing event coming up on the 1st of February, Soul Ignition. But this is the changeover. This is where we go from being directed and managed by the survival mode self to being directed and managed by the true self, by the eternal, expanded higher self. It's not about who you had to become. Now it's about who you've always been and letting who you had to become fade away so that who you've always been can really arrive in that central space as the authority and the driver. And that's huge. That's huge. That's a massive reorientation in just how you live. So it's a lot. Anyway, hope this helps. Thank you for watching. Bye.